Saladin is the name by which one famous sultan of Egypt and Syria became known in the West. He is generally associated with the Crusades as the noble adversary of Richard Lionheart. But is this image of Saladin reliable from a scholarly point of view? Brill's Christian-Muslim Relations Online answers that question and many others. Christian-Muslim Relations Online consists of two parts. The first covering the period from 600 to 1500 of the Common Era, and the second from 1500 to 1900 of the Common Era. When researching Saladin, we need to consult the first part, but it is also possible to search both at the same time. Christian-Muslim Relations Online is a bibliographic reference work that features entries on authors and specific works on Christian-Muslim relations, as well as a limited number of larger thematic essays. The search term Saladin yields 48 results. These include 2 essays, 10 biographical entries, 34 descriptions of works, and 2 introductions. All entries in the Christian-Muslim Relations Online are in English, but in these sample texts, the entries discussed are also in Arabic, Georgian, Syriac, Latin, French, and Italian. Saladin is mentioned in all of these search results. Some are historical texts. For example, the biography of Usama ibn Munkith is useful if you are interested in Muslim reports about the Crusades. Perhaps more surprisingly, Saladin also appears in Western literary works. For instance, Saladin was introduced by Giovanni Boccaccio as a protagonist in his Decamerone. We find this in the biographical entry on Boccaccio. All biographies in the Christian-Muslim Relations Online follow the same pattern. Biography, primary sources, secondary sources, and the author's works on Christian-Muslim relations are all included. Let's take a closer look at Boccaccio's work. In the bibliography of Il Decamerone, we learn that the historical figure of Saladin was introduced in Tale 9 on Day 10, a fictional story about Christian-Muslim encounters in general, and hospitality to strangers in particular. All the bibliographic entries in the reference work follow a pattern as well: description, significance, manuscripts, editions and translations, studies, and keywords. Not all Western representations of Saladin were positive. Some saw him as a harbinger for the Antichrist, for example, and this is how the late 12th century Italian abbot Joachim of Fiore portrays Saladin in his Expositio in Apocalypsum. To explain the search functionalities of the Christian-Muslim Relations Online, let's look at a different topic: the Turks. This time we will search Part 2 of the Christian-Muslim Relations Online, a work in progress that will eventually cover the whole period from 1500 until 1900 CE. By the 16th century, the Ottomans occupied large areas of Middle Europe. Let's type in anti-Turkish and Islam to see what entries can be found in the Christian-Muslim Relations Online about European attitudes toward the Turks and Islam. Croatian authors at that time published appeals to influence European decision-making and public opinion by penning descriptions of Dalmatian, Croatian, and Hungarian struggles for survival. In these texts, the Turks are presented as the scourge of God, a cruel enemy, and infidel antagonists of all Christians. The threat of conversion to Islam is mentioned often, but religious differences are not extensively dwelt upon. Muslims were increasingly perceived through the Turkish perspective, to the point when Turk became a synonym for Muslim. The diverse historical contact between Muslims and Christians has been described in an enormous corpus of texts in many languages, in manuscripts and in printed works. Led by Professor David Thomas, a large team of international scholars continues to work on the Christian-Muslim Relations Online. As a bibliographical history, The Christian-Muslim Relations Online complements the works of Brockelman and Graff, offering invaluable insights into the age-old religious and intellectual encounters between Christians and Muslims across the globe. Part 2 of the Christian-Muslim Relations Online is a work in progress, so new entries and essays are added continuously. Christian-Muslim Relations Online is a treasure trove of reliable and enlightening information about a topic that remains very relevant today. For more information, visit brill.com or contact us at sales-nl@brill.com or sales-us@brill.com for customers in the Americas.